welcome back to Approval Never Cowslips here. This is CLE Language Arts 4, Book 2. It's recorded live right here in our classroom. I hope you enjoy. Language Arts 4, Lesson 6. Common or proper nouns. Let's do some review here on the board. The paw of the lion. How do we make that possessive? The lion.
Paw. Good.
Lion apostrophe S, paw. Lion apostrophe S, paw. The blue car zoom or zooms down the road?
Zooms.
Good, zooms, because car is singular, so we need a singular verb. The blue car zooms down the road. And now, let's diagram this one. A large green watermelon grew. What is the verb?
Grew.
Grew. Who or what grew?
Watermelon.
Watermelon. And then what do we do with the other words in there?
Put. I don't know how to say it.
Slanted lines, good.
Yeah.
As adjectives, a large green. A large green watermelon grew. Okay, now the new lesson has to do with common nouns and proper nouns. And we've talked about this before. What is a proper noun? It's a noun that names a specific person, place, or thing. So for one person, place, or thing, like a proper noun would be Wild Trek. That's kind of the title of this book. But it would also be names like Mr. Jonathan, names of things, even names of Squala Bettel, just names of organizations. They name something specific, Titanic, and they always get capitalized. A proper noun means this is the only one like this. Common nouns like boy, girl, desk, chair, they don't get capitalized because they're just common little nouns. Let's actually think of a person. A common noun for person, because nouns name person, place, things, and ideas. A common noun for a person would be man. A proper noun would be Jonathan. A name. That would be name. For a place, common place would be maybe school. A proper place might be Romania, or somewhere where there's only one that will be capitalized. For a thing, a common thing would be ship, and a proper thing, Titanic. And for idea, we don't have proper ideas, or very few that would actually be called proper ideas. So we don't really capitalize those. Now, where this gets tricky is some nouns can be sometimes proper and sometimes common. Look at this. I went to town with mother. I went to town with my mother. In one of these sentences, mother is proper. It's talking about just a specific thing. And then the other sentence is not. And here's how we test it. So I'm going to correct it. It's in this sentence right here. So we should actually capitalize mother. So when do we capitalize mother and when do we not capitalize mother? We don't capitalize mother if it has a word like my before it. My mother. And the test you can do is let's put in someone's name. Let's say your mother's name is Jane. Then can we put in Jane as your mother's name and it still makes sense? I went to town with Jane. Yes, that sounds good. We need to capitalize it because Jane would also be capitalized. So mother is just taking the place of your mother's name.
I went to town with my Jane.
Right. So down here, I went to town with my Jane. That doesn't make sense. So we'll just let it small. But if it makes sense to put a name directly in place of mother, aunt, uncle. I went to town with uncle. I guess you could say that. I went along with town to uncle. But you're actually meaning someone's name. Also, if you would go, I went to town with my Uncle Robert. Then, no, if you go to town, if you say this, I went to town with my Uncle Robert, uncle doesn't get capitalized. But if you say, I went to town with Uncle Robert, then uncle does get capitalized. One big thing is look for this my. If you have a my in it, do not capitalize the next word. And then the other test is, can you just put in a name in place of it? And if you can just slide a name right in place of it, then it does get capitalized. Okay, that's the hard part of today's lesson, of knowing when to capitalize them and when not to capitalize them. If there's a little possessive pronoun, her, its, my, coming before it, don't capitalize the nouns. They're just common nouns, then not proper ones. I would like to read your spelling words to you yet before I finish. And I'll just read them. Accept, balance, desire, dream, flight, fright, glider, inventor, machine, pilot, quite, research, spent, trial, truth. Okay. What do you think? Not that difficult on those spelling words this time, I hope. Okay, carry on with your work.